G'day guys, my name is Wildcard, welcome back to my channel. Thank you for following my contents, I really do appreciate it. Especially those guys who pay their real money to support me. In a time like this, I really truly appreciate every penny you can give me. This game, Scotland versus France, we're going to be looking at all the players, we're going to have compared all the lineup, we're going to go through some news before the pre-match, and then we're going to also look at the weather, and my prediction for the game will be at the end. So let me know your thoughts in the comments down below, let me know your predictions, I really do enjoy reading your comments. So let's get on with it, let's have a look at what's the lineup, let's have a look at the game. Scotland versus France, this is going to be played in Scotland. Last year, Scotland was able to pull up a huge upset over the French in France, whilst there was no fan watching, still a huge away game, beating the French team. It was a bit of a, the French had some excuses going into the game last year. They were hit with COVID prior to the game. And, yeah, but regardless, Scotland was able to pull up a big upset in overtime to close out the game with really good performance over the French team. So this game played in Scotland in front of a crowd. Scotland definitely has a home advantage, but overall, yeah, we're gonna have a look at some of the changes that the team has been made. Huge changes for the Scottish team, whilst the French has remained pretty much unchanged from the team. They beat Ireland at home. So let's have a look at some of the news going into this game before we get on with the lineup. So first up, Gavin Villiers, the hat-trick try scorer against Ireland. The winger is ruled out with injury, so he's not going to be able to play this weekend. And as a result, this is the only change that the French team has made. Yeah, essentially the only change the French team has made for the squad up against Scotland. We shall see who it is in the end. So the person that steps in for Villiers at center position is Jonathan Dante. He was injured against the Irish, but he's back this weekend, so he'll be back in the 12 position. And the person at 12, Urel, I think his name is Urel's newcomer, Urel, Uram Moefana is moved to 11 from center. So Moefana, I think he's like a utility back. He's played a lot of different positions for the French, but yeah, he's moved to a number 11 position after playing at center last week. Okay, so he is quite a utility talent for the French. Now for the Scotland team, huge loss for the Scotland side. Johnny Gray, the second rower, the line out. They're basically the rock of the line out, and he also is a huge workhorse for the Scottish team at the breakdowns. He's ruled out of the remainder of the Six Nations due to a shoulder injury or ankle injury. And yeah, as a result, this is a huge loss for the Scottish side. In my opinion, the Scottish team is gelled together with a few really important players, and Johnny Gray is one of those glue that gels the whole team together essentially. With him missing, this is going to be a little bit tough for the Scotland side, because Johnny Gray is kind of like the safe option in the lineouts. Yeah, we shall see how that's going to affect the Scottish side going into this weekend. And then the weather in Edinburgh on Saturday, it's going to be dry, it's going to be 9 degrees. There's not going to be wet weather, so there's not going to be much conditions. It's going to be pretty perfect for rugby. And yeah, that's no excuses for either teams. We have seen the French team perform poorly in the rain against Italy 3 weeks ago. And with that out of the picture, this could be, yeah, there shouldn't be any issues in terms of teams handling and teams in terms of conditioning affecting the team's performance. So yeah, that's something that kind of didn't play in the Scottish, so kind of like, you probably would hope that it's raining you would have played into the Scottish team's advantage, to be fair. So let's have a look at the lineups. Huge changes for the Scottish side all over the place. So the big talking points from the lineup in the forward pack is the scrummaging. The French scrummaging is probably the best in the world right now. They were pretty dominant over the Irish scrum, which were considered the best in the world after both teams have outperformed the New Zealand forward pack, which was also considered like one of the best in the world. And the French were able to really show the dominant in their size up front. So in the front rowers, Pierre Shulman comes in for Scotland. Stuart McAnally comes in at number 2. Xander Fagerson moves up from the bench to number 3 position. He was coming off the bench last week, but Xander Fagerson normally starts has been starting at number 3 anyway, so he's back in the number 3 position to give some more stability for that scrummaging. Cyril Bailey coming in number 1 for the French team. Julian McCann unchanged at number 2, and the big man, the powerhouse Uni Antonio comes in number 3 for the French side in the front rower. Huge front row, 145 kilograms. Some said he's even heavier, and yeah, he's massive. He was just tremendous against the Irish team on the a couple weeks ago. In the locking positions, Sam Skinner moves from 6 to 4 to filling for Johnny Gray, and he gets number 4 jersey. Grant Gilchrist gets number 5 jersey stays number 5 jersey for the Scottish team. For the French, Cameron Woolkey has proven again and again he's one of the best properly locks in the world. Despite his tender age at 23, he's exceptionally good at lineouts, extremely safe, extremely good at the breakdowns, and a really high work rate as well. And yeah, he's ever since he kind of like been plucked out by Gautier, he's been performing exceptionally well for the French team. Paul Valemsa comes in number 5 for the French team. And then the loose forwards for the Scottish side, Rory Darch moves to number 6 position, coming up from the bench from the bench on the 20th spot. Hamish Watson, one of the glue that gels together the Scottish side, comes in number 7. He's got a huge workload ahead of him this weekend with Johnny Gray out, so the breakdown he's gonna be having to really step up and try to lift the guys around him to try to put some more work in at the breakdown, which is going to be very important for the Scottish side. Magnus Bradbury moves off the bench as well to the number 8 position for the Scottish side. In the French team, unchanged loose forwards, Francois Crocs, number 6, Anthony the Dive Jolik comes in number 7, and Gregory Aldrich comes in at number 8. Now the 4-pack, one of the key things about the Scottish team one of the advantages the Scottish team has over the French team, in my opinion, is the fitness. The French team did gas out a little bit. The 4-pack did gas out a little bit in the second half against Ireland, which allowed Ireland to pull back quite a large deficit in about 10 minutes or so, 10-15 minutes before the French reserves came on to give that energy boost to stabilize the game. So there could be a fitness issue here that Scotland can exploit in terms of beating the French team. Now the backline, the unchanged for both teams from last week. There's one change for Jonathan French, but unchanged for the Scottish side. Ali Price comes in at number 9. Finn Russell number 10. Pretty steady combination for the Scottish team. For the French, Antoine Dupont, many consider the best player in the world right now. Romain Ntamack, again, many people consider him one of the best number 10 in the world at the moment. 2 players with huge number of flair. Now the backline. The most important part of the backline is Finn Russell and Anton Dupont for the 2 teams. Both teams like to play the kicking game, and most of the kicking is done by Finn Russell at 10, whilst most kicking from French team comes at 9 with Anton Dupont. Ntamack also does a little bit of kicking, and also at fullback, Melvin Jaminet also does a bit of kicking for the French, but French has a really heavy kicking strategy. And that's something that Stuart Hogg and Finn Russell will have to deal with this game. And yeah, we'll have to see how that goes. It's going to be close, but I feel like overall, the kicking game could be really close. It really comes down to how the rest of the players follow the kicking, in my opinion, to see which team comes out on top. So at number 11 position, Duhan van der Merwe is probably the most important player in this game for the Scottish team. If he has a good game, the Scotland actually have a chance to stay in touch and win the game. If he has another poor game like he did against Wales, where he almost didn't touch the ball for most of the game. If he has another quiet game like that, this is gonna be tough for Scotland to win against this game. So large part of the kicking strategy is about the follow up. And something that Van der Merwe has done really well against England is following up those kicks that Finn Russell was able to put down, apply the pressure, and it's something that he did not do nearly as well as he did against England when they played against Wales. So Van der Merwe, really important for him to follow up those kicks, and this kicking game really hinges on how well Finn Russell can kind of combine his kicking with Van der Merwe's pressure chase. So really important there, and this is something that you would really want to look out for, and this could be where the game is lost, essentially. In the center position, Simone Tuipulotu gets a second nod at the number 12 jersey after starting a quite a good debut start last week. He debuted, but he started last week at 12. Pretty good performance. He gets another shot at 12 position. Chris Harris stays number 13 with his experience. The French side, like I mentioned before, Villiers is injured, so Uran Moefana moves in from center to number 11. While Jonathan Tenti comes back from the injury, moves back in number 12 position to that spot. Gael Ficou stays number 13 for the French team with a world of experience in the outside center position. In the 14th position, Darcy Graham, he's up against Damien Pennell, another two exceptionally important player. Again, with the kicking game, with kick chase, Darcy Graham, I think his impact in the kicking game is also exceptionally well, where he was able to put pressure on England for that penalty try. And but I think mostly the way that Scotland likes to play is utilize Van der Merwe in those open field kicks. So Darcy Graham also does a lot of work around kicking. He's just as important as Van der Merwe, but I felt Van der Merwe is probably, his performance probably needs to be better this week than he did against the Welsh. Damien Pennell comes in number 14, like we mentioned, for the French team. Also a huge guy with the kicking. There's a lot of the French game revolves around kick behind into space, little grubber kicks behind, where Pennell will be chasing and try to recoup those kicks. That's a really typical strategy from the French team. And again, at number 15, two world-class fullbacks, Stuart Hogg up against Melvin Jaminet, the goal kicker for French, one of the, probably best goal kickers in the world. Just perfect technique. When he pops the ball is just, perfectly sails through the air. It was just beautiful to watch. Stuart Hogg also has world-class kicking game. So this is once again to see which guy will come out on top. The goal kicking is also another thing that Scotland kind of falls behind a little bit. Finn Russell's goal kicking percentage is lower than Melvin Jaminet, so hopefully that doesn't hurt the Scottish team too much with the discipline. Could potentially be an issue in the scrum area, in the set piece, in the 4-pack. We shall see how that goes, because if the 4-pack is not able to handle the size, the discipline could fall off from the Scottish team and resulting in a lot of penalty options for the French team. So there's a lot of things to look out for, and I think the kicking game is will be deciding on which team is going to win this match essentially. In the reserves, huge changes for the Scottish side, whereas no changes for the French team. George Turner comes back in at the number 16 jersey. Ollie Keble comes in number 17, brings in a lot of the size that the Scottish team kind of wants to match up with the French. Willem Nel comes down to the reserve from the number 3 position to number 18 jersey. So for the French team, Peato Mauvaka stays number 16. Jean-Baptiste Gros stays number 17. And the big man, the powerhouse, number 18, Demba Bamba, on the tight head prop position on the bench. And then on the lock position, Jamie Hodgson comes in at number 19 for Scotland. And then Nick Hennings is also added in the Scottish side at number 20 jersey. Roman Taufifenua stays number 19. Another huge player coming off the bench. Just the size of him, really difficult to deal with. Coming in for a lock position in the French side. Thibault Flamand comes in at number 20 for French. Ben White retains his jersey at number 21 for Scotland. Dylan Crichton comes in at number 21 for France. And Blair Kinghorn retains his jersey at number 22. Maxime Luku comes in at number 22. Mark Bennett, a new addition to the Scottish side, number 23. And Thomas Ramos stays at number 23 jersey for the French. That is the lineup, guys. This is going to be a game where the kicking game is going to be really important. Van der Merwe needs to have a huge game. And then the 4-pack has to really, huge game for the 4-pack as well. I do feel this is going to be a tough game for the Scottish team to win. If the weather had been a bit wet, there has been some historical evidence to show that the French team might struggle in wet weather a little bit. But I think the French will edge ahead this game with a win over the Scottish side, especially with Johnny Gray injured. And let me know your thoughts, guys. Let me know your predictions. Thank you for watching this video. I'll see you guys a bit later for the England versus Wales preview. Cheers.